Hey, my name is Brittany, and I want to tell y'all about a few of my favorite dark romances. I love dark romance books. The more trigger warnings, the better. If it's 10 pages long of trigger warnings, I'm going to read it. That is how I pick my books. And I know a lot of people don't do that, but that is how I love to read my books. The first book that I want to tell you about is Once You're Mine. I love me some Hayden Bennett. It starts out where he is at a funeral. Well, apparently it's the girl that he really likes is dad's funeral. Apparently Hayden killed him. And so the girl doesn't know. Well, eventually he ends up putting cameras in her apartment, and then he ends up stalking her. So, typical dark romance stuff. And a book is really good when it says, for anyone who thinks getting stalked by a fictional character is sexy, this book is for you. That is how I knew that I needed to read that book. My second book will be Haunting Adeline. This book will forever be one of my favorite dark romances. This was one of the first dark romances I read, and it is pretty dark, but I don't regret it. That's what got me started on dark romances, was Haunting Adeline. It was an experience, let me put it that way. But it starts out, there's Zaid and Addie. Zaid is Addie's stalker. He sees this girl and he was like, I've got to have you. Nothing will stop me from having this girl. He will show her the darkest parts of him so that she falls in love with them, so that she knows just how he is. But he stalks her, so she gets a security system put in her house. Well, little does she know, the owner of the security system is Zaid, who is her stalker, which, dark romance. Always will be a dark romance. But also, it ends on a cliffhanger. That's the only thing that I did not like. But there is a second book called Hunting Adeline. My third book is Hooked. Hooked is a modern day tale of Peter Pan. And if you love like the fairy tales that are twisted dark, this is one for you. He ends up kidnapping her in, true dark romance form. Super extra. Love it. Her dad doesn't like Hooked. It's like this whole ordeal. I recommend that one. Also, All He'll Ever Be by B. Winters. All He'll Ever Be by W. Winters. This book was really good. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. But, because sometimes I go into it open-minded and I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm actually going to like this. Those normally end up being the ones that I fall the most in love with. It's something about them books. He kidnaps her and puts her in a cell and keeps her there, and he's like, I'm going to make her fall in love with me. So he tries, and he tries to get her to fall in love with him, and he tries to earn her trust, and typical dark romance form. But those are my recommendations for a few dark romances if you're looking for any to read. But always, always, always remember to read the trigger warnings, unless you're like me and you pick your books based off the trigger warnings and it's like 4 pages long. Read it. Trust me, it'll be worth it.